Hello friends, today this video I will be showing you how to download QBasic 64 and install into your computer, as well as we will also learn that what are the different ways by which you can download QBasic software, and then how will you run the software and many more. So without wasting the time, we will start the video. So first of all, in the Google we will write QBasic download. Okay, we'll choose this one, this program, this particular QBasic download, and we'll press enter. We will be quickly taken down over here in this qbasic.net, download QBasic for Windows 7 and 10. So you will click on this. Once you will click on this, you will be taken down to your page where you will download this QBasic. So this is one of the platform from where you can easily download QBasic. We are having another software or another website from where you can download. So this is from here, you have to search, but another one is there. I can show you over here. I can write in the search engine QB64 download. Okay, this will help you to download a QBasic 64-bit. See, qb64.org is available right now. You will click on this. Once you will click on this, you will be taken down to the QBasic 64 page, and from here you can download. See, download latest version, development build, inform for QBasic, and like these options are available. From here you can scroll down and you can download any of the version. Like suppose I am downloading this one, download QB64 version 1.4. okay, so let us download this. This version is available. Now from here you need to choose which platform is required. So if you are having Windows 10 64-bit, then you can download this one. If you have Windows 10 32-bit, then you can download this one. So, and if you are having Mac operating system, from here, if you are a Linux user, then from here. So we will choose the this 64-bit, because I know my computer is of 64-bit. And if you want to know that which how much bit is your computer, so you will minimize this one. You will go to my computer and you will right click on it and then click on properties. So once you click on properties, it will be showing you the window where you can see system type 64-bit operating system. This one you should see in your computer once. If it is 32-bit, then you should go for 32-bit. If it is 64-bit, you should go for 64-bit. Now we are going to from here I will be showing you like downloading this one. Suppose I am downloading this zip file. Now just clicking on it, you can see it is getting downloaded, and in this way it will go on downloading. And I am cancelling the download because I am already having this one. So cancelled, download cancelled. Now I will be quickly going to the download folder. Now see, you have to go to download folder from this way also, my computer, and from here you can click on this download option. So from here you can see that already I am in the download folder, and this is the version that I have downloaded, QBasic, from that download where you have seen just now. Now we need to double click on it. We will see it's opening in this manner. Okay. Now after that, from here you can right click, see extract to the specified folder. You will choose this one. So you will click on this. So it will give you one platform like this where this option is coming to you. Now I will click on OK. See, right now it will be putting this unextracted form in the same folder where I am right now. So it is processing. Let it be processed properly. So in this way it will go on giving you so many files from here. It may take some time, and after that I'm cancelling it because already I'm having this one. you will allow it to complete the entire thing. After that you will get one folder like this, QB64. Okay, you will double click on this and you will get QB64.exe file inside. Once it has been extracted in this folder, you will just double click on this and your QBasic platform will open. So this is your QBasic platform. Okay, so this is the process by which you will download and then you will install. So after installing this one, now we will learn some few things on QBasic. Suppose I am writing a code, because in my last video already you have seen the different parts of the QBasic where file, edit and all menus are available. Everything is right now you know it. Now today I will be explaining about the programming part. In QBasic there are two things which are important. One is constant and number two is variable. Okay, these two things are very important. So from here you can see I am writing, suppose a is equal to 5. So you can see a is equal to 5. When I am writing this, a is a variable and this 5 is going inside this variable a. So let me tell you about the variables. There are two types of variables in QBasic. One is numeric variable, which I have used right now, and another one is string variable, which will be used right now. So suppose I am writing b, then you need to write the $sign, because for a string variable you need to write the $sign, otherwise it will not work. So b dollar is equal to, suppose I am writing over here as SCMS. Okay, and within double quotes I have closed that one. I have pressed enter. See, b dollar means b is another variable which can store a string. String over here means bunch of letters. Okay, and a over here means a variable which is actually containing the number. So it's a number variable, a is a numeric variable and b is a string variable. So this will be used in many programs, this type of more. Like I can take c is equal to 8.9. So this is also a variable, number variable or numeric variable which is storing a decimal number. So these are all variables. Now suppose I am talking about the constant. Suppose I am writing c, sorry, not c is already taken, d is equal to, suppose I am writing like a into 5. So when I am writing d is equal to a into 5, we know that in computer star means multiplication. So when I am writing a into 5, then actually it is showing us the multiplication of a. So here a is a variable, so in place of a it will store 5, this 5 value of a, and this 5 is the constant number. So if I don't want this, I can change it also. I can also write it like 10 I am writing, so it will multiply with 10. So this 10 is a constant value. So constant means something which never changes. So when you are writing 10, it will never change, but value of a will change, because if I change the value of a over here, like from 5 I am writing 6, then it will be changed. So you can see that value of a will be considered over here as 6. Whatever value I will put over here, on behalf of that the value of a will be assigned. But this is a constant value. I have written 10 over here. So this 10 will never change throughout the program when the program will run. Okay, so there are two types of constants available. Another constant is a string constant. If I use a string constant, suppose I am writing over here as x dollar is equal to, I am writing suppose b dollar, and then I am writing plus, suppose I am writing like this one, school. So when I press enter, here whatever the value of b will be, actually here this plus will means it will add two string. So SCMS and string will join together and it will become SCMS school. So these two things over here, this is a constant, again school is a constant, because every time whatever value of b will be, it will add that value, means it will join that value with school. So school is a string constant. and B where I have written SCMS, if I write KCMS then it will change accordingly. So whatever value of B will be there, that will take, and it will be constant with every time with school. So from here I can make you understand that which one is variable and which one is a constant. So there are, we have learned two things, two type of variables, numeric variables and string variables, and we have also learned the constants like numeric constants and the string constants. Okay. Now we are going to learn little bit about like the variable names that we are taking. Suppose we are taking like just now I have mentioned over here. Let me rub this thing. Many things I have written. Suppose I have written x is equal to 6. This one is possible because x is a variable where I am storing 6, because over here is equal to means the value in the right hand side will be copied into the left hand side. So here x is a valid name, but if you write 1x is equal to 6 and if you press enter, it will not take, see it's taking 1 and x, there is a gap between 1 and x. So it is not taking 1x as a variable name, because before the variable name you cannot put any number, but after a variable name you can put a number. Like suppose I am writing over here like x1 is equal to 6. Sorry, x1 is equal to suppose 6. So now you can see it's taking x1 as a new variable name. So variable, while writing the variable name you should not use any number before, and also we should follow some few things, like I cannot write a means variable name with a special character. Now what is a special character? Suppose I am writing a and the rate c is equal to 9. If I write enter, it will give an error. See here at the rate cannot be used as a variable name, so it's put giving red mark. So over here if I write hash or dollar and then if I press enter, then also it will give an error, because in the variable name you cannot use a special character like hash, dollar, percentage, like that. Only alphabets are used. And also you need to remember one more thing, that the variable name that you are writing could be a word also, like suppose I am writing like length. I can write it in this way, like length 9, length is equal to 9 and then enter. That means length is a variable name. So variable name, while naming a variable you should follow some few rules to name a variable. When you are naming a variable you should follow some very few rules, like special characters you cannot provide, only underscore is possible. So if you write a underscore b is equal to 6, see this one is possible because underscore is the only special character which can be used as a variable name. Okay, so this is another important part from where you will understand that how this thing is being used. Now we are going to learn one more command from here, like let command. So if I write let a is equal to 7, then this means same with the name, with the thing that I have done over here the above. X equal to 6 directly writing, and let a is equal to 7 or let x equal to 6 are both same, because let command allow you to assign a variable. Over here in QBasic, in modern programming language, you can assign a value in the variable without using let command, but let command is also available. It was basically mostly used in the GW Basic, in older version of Basic. Okay, so here we can use a let command or we may not, it's up to us. Now I will be rubbing all these things again. Now I will show you how a print statement is actually working. See, suppose I am writing print, then within bracket I am writing like, bracket is not required, print 5. Okay, print 5 I have written, and now I want to run this one. We'll go and run. See, for running, already in the last video I have shown you how to run the program. We'll click on run and then we can click on start, so it will start executing. or we can also use F5 button. Okay, see, in the output screen we are getting 5. So whatever you will write after print, that will be printed. Okay, if it is a constant, it will print the constant. 5 is a constant over here, so it's printing the constant. See, it's telling that press any key to continue. Again I am coming over here. Now this one is, it's printing print 5. Now I will write something like print QBasic. Okay, and enter. See, when I am writing something within double quotes, that also will be shown in the output screen. So when I am running the program, you see again it is printing the QBasic. Last, this 5 was 5 is for this line number 1, where it's printing 5, and line number 2, print QBasic within double quotes. Whatever I will write, that will be printed. Okay, now let us do another thing. Suppose I will rub these 2 lines now. So suppose print, before I will use print, I am writing x is equal to 6, and then I am writing print x. Now what will happen? We'll click on run and start. See, when we'll write this program, it will not print x, it will print the value of x. See, as I have written x equal to 6 and I have written print x, so it's printing the value of x, not only x. If you want to print only x, then you have to write it in this way. Within double quotes, you will write this x. Okay. Now you run this. Also we can run by pressing F5. So we have executed the program by pressing F5 only. Now you can see that only x is being printed. That means here I am actually printing the value of x. I am not printing the value of x, I am only printing x over here. Okay. So in this way we can also do more things, like I am telling you, like over here I am not pressing x, I am going to the previous line, I am writing like x dollar. So x dollar will become the string variable now. So here I will write New Delhi. Okay, and I will print x dollar over here. So once you run this program, you will see that it's printing the value of x, and right now the x is a string variable, so it will print the value of x like New Delhi. This is known to you. Now if you want to print multiple things over here, like I have written x is equal to New Delhi, now p is equal to 8. Now I will be writing over here like comma, I am writing p. See, I have written printing both the values together, like x and p. X is a string variable, p is a numeric variable. Now I am running the program. You can see that I have made the thing clear over here, that two things, multiple things can be also printed. See, New Delhi and then a space, multiple spaces, a big space, then 8. As I have written comma over here, that is why it is actually printed in this way. Now if I don't use comma and only I write p after a space, then you can see what will happen. So you can see that if I don't give a comma, I can get the, okay, I think some kind of problem is occurring. Okay, there is an error. You have to put something over here. So we can put semicolon over here, so that it will give you one space over here. Now let us see. So see, New Delhi and then space, one space and 8. So it's printing the value of x and one space and then p's value. So it is printing in this way. So there are lot more things present of printing. We have learned many things from printing. Now I want to clear the screen before it will print. If it will give the output, you can clear your screen, like in the program if you write CLS, then it will clear your screen and then it will print. This one is also good, because nowadays QBasics are only clearing your screen and giving. So this command is right now of no use. It was popular in GW Basic, older version of QBasic. Okay. Now in the program, suppose I want to put a line which should not execute. Suppose rem, I have given rem, and I am writing this is a QBasic program, and just any double quote. See, if I write it in this way, this line, whatever I will write after rem, will not be the part of the program. It is not going to execute. Only the last 3 lines will be executed. After this rem, wherever it will get the rem, that line will not execute. Now if you run the program, you will not get any changes in the output, because rem command is not working. Rem is only for the programmer who is writing the program. So you can see New Delhi 8, everything is same as like previous, where I have already added a new line rem, but this line is for the programmer, because if I want to write something in the program which I don't want to execute, that I can write with the help of rem. Okay. Now we are going to learn a new command, another new command, which is called input. Okay. So let us try it out. Now I will be rubbing these lines, because we will do it from the beginning only. So suppose I am writing input. Okay. Like input, I am writing over here as enter a number. Okay, and then I am writing over here as, oh, I'm sorry, no need to give the value over a, like this expression over here. We can write x, and then we can write input y. As I have not given any dollar mark in x and y, so it will understand that x and y are the number variables or numeric variables. So I have written z is equal to x plus y, and I am printing the value of z. Now let's run the program and see what happens. See, it's asking, you can see in the output it's asking for a value, question mark and value. So I need to give some value. Suppose I am giving 80. Again it's asking another value, as I have written input over there. So first value will be going in x, input y. Right now the next line it's asking another value. Suppose I am written 70. So the 70 will be coming in y, and at last I am getting 150. The plus of 2 value means addition of 2 values. So x and y will be added, and it will be placed in the z, and you can see the value of z right now. So this is the advantages of the input command, which will help you to do such kind of things like. Okay, so this is the basically the most important command that we are going to use. So these are the basic commands that we are going to use. So in the next video we are going to see some few more things, where we will be learning about the basic things like if else, conditions and operators. Okay, relational operator, arithmetic operators, and many more in the next video. So till now I think the video is will help you to write a program, a basic program. So I think if you are having any further more question, you can ask me, and your homework is to read this chapter more properly, all the commands you should know, so that in the next class I can ask you and I can understand that whether you have understood all the commands. From your book you will learn all these codes and all these commands properly. So after this, if we want to quit this, if I want to close this window, I will go to file, and then I will click on exit. Okay, it will ask for saving. If you want to save, you will press yes. I don't want to save, I am pressing no. So I am again back to that folder. Thank you very much. I hope this video will help you to install QBasic and learn about QBasic more properly. Bye and have a nice day.